So we are reading Liquid Luck by Joe Gallenberger. We are on page 25 of the book and page 39 of the PDF.
Why bring up the miracle of the human body in a chapter about gratitude? My reason is threefold. First, you need to look no further than your own body to be filled with gratitude, awe, and appreciation for its sacredness and its gift to you of life. And sending gratitude to your body is an extremely powerful action. I believe doing so will enliven your body, improve your health, allow much greater energy to flow for manifestation, and open the great wisdom channel of the body from which you can receive invaluable guidance.
So this is so beautifully put. Okay. Now today we are existing here because of the body. Today that is the vehicle that allows us to experience whatever we are experiencing, to be in this reality, to exist in this realm, right? Yes, in awareness we are attempting to expand our consciousness. There's no doubt in that. We're wanting to explore beyond the body. But the body is the Aadhar, the body is the foundation from which we operate. That this is the place from where we actually take off, right? It's the runway. If the runway did not exist, then we could not have gone into those states, experience those states, and then come back to integrate those states in this body system. Now, the body is such a beautiful and magnificent tool. It functions flawlessly year in and year out. Believe me when I tell you this, no one can heal you. The body heals itself. Okay. Another thing, there is a book, I forget the author's name. It is called Body Holds Score. So anything that happens to you is registered in the body, right? These aches, pains that you have, they are basically traumas or certain issues that you have which get stuck in the body system. Also, the body is extremely sensitive. They have done experiments where they have people sitting in front of a screen, okay, and they have these the skin galvanizing response, the polarity conversion, the HRV, and all sorts of equipment attached to a person, and the person is sitting in front of the screen, and pictures are posted in front of the person, right? Now, if what they have noticed is that the body responds before the picture comes on the screen. That means the body has some kind of an intuitive intelligence which it knows before something is happening. Also, whenever, like when I do Vastu, when I do energy field rectification, my tool is my body. I sense everything using my body. Of course, the antenna is there, but the body is what makes the antenna run. If the body's sensitivity wasn't there, the antenna would not react. Okay. So now, if I'm walking into a space, there was a time when if I walked into a space, I used to start getting pain in various parts of my body, and that could exactly tell me where the problem lay in the house. I didn't even have to look at the antenna or even look at the layout of the house. Are you all getting what I'm saying? The body is that sensitive, and it is constantly monitoring and adjusting itself to the environment, to the various stimuli which are coming in. And most of us do not pay attention. We do not say thank you to our bodies. There is one serial, it's called Altered Carbon. Okay. In that serial, the consciousness of the person is in a disc, and there is a slot at the back of the body. They call it the sleeve, and you insert the slot and the consciousness goes into the body, and then you can use that body, right? It's very similar to the concept where the Atma comes in and uses this body. In Far Journeys, when we read, that was one of the things that was experienced by Robert Monroe in that altered state, where the body was lying around and you could just, the conscious awareness could just enter the body and then start using the body. So that was a real experience that Robert Monroe had. So at the end of the day, what is very important is that we must have gratitude to our body. We must appreciate our body. And if we are sending depreciating thoughts to our body, as we discussed in the last session, our body is made up of 70% water. And Dr. Emoto's experiments clearly indicate that the water is a carrier of frequencies. It responds to frequencies. It responds to the vibrations emitted by a word. If you just write a word, it will affect the water crystals which get formed by the influence of that word. Okay. We had done this experiment. I have mentioned this before, not in this session, but in other sessions, where in the Vastu workshop, one of the experiments that we do is that we write a word on a piece of paper and we hold it in our hand and see what happens. Now, the person with whom it happened is in the session. So I'm going to ask her to respond. But in this one workshop, what I did was I wrote hate, and I was feeling hate when I wrote it in the first slip. In the second slip, I was writing hate and I was thinking, why am I writing hate? In the third and fourth slip, I was writing hate, but I was feeling love. Now, all these slips were distributed to various people, and the experiment was that you needed to go and stand in front of the wall. Okay. So now I'm asking, Indra Bhabhi, are you here? Indra Bhabhi, can you raise your hand? Yeah. So I'm pulling you up. I'm spotlighting you. So what happened to you in that experiment? You can tell everyone.
We were doing this experiment and we were given a piece of paper which we were holding in our fist. So I think Niket went around giving everybody a piece of paper, and the minute I got this paper and I held it in my hand, my body was literally thrown against the wall, or there was a big window if I'm not mistaken.
So you were against the wall, the window was on the side, on the left side.
Yeah, I just got thrown against the window as I was going to fall out. And I didn't know what that paper held, what was written on the paper. And then when we opened it, it was written hate.
Yeah. So
that is how strong it was, just that word. And I mean, I was not even aware what it happened. I got thrown, and it just got physically thrown against the window.
Yeah. So and if I remember correctly, you literally fell.
Yeah. Yes.
Now if I remember correctly, you literally fell down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do remember.
So that's the power, and the body responds. The body is so sensitive, right? That one piece of paper, she held it in her hand and just stood against the wall, and she was thrown off, and she actually fell down. She literally fell on the floor. I remember that very, very clearly. Okay. So this becomes very important. Being grateful to our body is so important that it is not funny. Most of the time we are criticizing, my belly is too fat, I am too fat, my thighs are too fat, my head is too big, my nose is too big, all that stuff which is there, which really we must be aware that the body has consciousness. So we must be loving towards our bodies. Okay, so Raghuji, your hand is up. Please, what would you like to say? You have to unmute and start your video, please. Kavita Didi, if you're ready, you can go.
Yeah, so Niket.
Yeah.
If I remember right, the pain was there for a long time for Indira.
Yeah. So
almost till night.
Yeah. For a day, that pain was still there with her.
Yeah, and my hand was very heavy, for that. I still remember my whole arm was very stiff.
Yeah.
Quite some time,
Absolutely. So Kavita Didi was also there in that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, Raghuji, please go ahead.
Number one, what is the name of the book? You said about body, some book. name who
I
started it.
said the body holds score.
Score.
Yes, score.
It's
Like cricket,
star.
you have scoring in cricket, right?
Yeah,
So it's body holds score.
body holds score.
There's some won something, won something, or I forget the name of the author.
Okay, anyway, now two things. I think body is an anchor in principle, and number two is not only we need to be grateful for the body, but it is a temple of our being, and we have to keep it sacred. And when you approach it with gratitude and holiness about it, you have a different paradigm of living.
Yeah, so that's exactly what we are saying. We have to operate with gratitude towards the body and be grateful that the body is allowing us to exist over here. It is our home, it is our temple.
It is a
Absolutely
temple,
correct.
and the sacredness of it is very important.
Absolutely.
We are grateful and abusing it, it doesn't help, no? That's what I meant with
Absolutely.
the,
Great. Thank you for bringing that up.
Niket, can I share something, but it's
Yeah,
not
please.
related to what we do here.
Yeah, please
But
go ahead.
it was an experience which I had. Actually, I was doing healing for a person. This was before about say 6 months back, and she was going through COVID, a young girl, and she told me she complained of a lot of pain in her calves. So I just gave her one suggestion. I said, your healing is going on, but you just do one thing. You do forgiveness 5 times a day. And she did it. And the next day she said, Auntie, I can't believe it, but my pain has gone.
Correct.
So, you know, what you said, it proves those things that the emotions we have in our body are the cause for a lot of whatever, disease or sensations or
Absolutely. So what you're thinking will affect your body. So if you're holding on to stuff which puts you on the left side of the grid, it is bound to create problems for you in your physical body. There's no doubt in that. Yes, Indra Bhabhi?
You know, talking about the body, I would like to just share a very personal experience. I was going through a state of illness recently, and I was given some medications, and my doctor had warned me that you're going to put on weight as long as you take this medicine, but it was important for me to take the medicine. So he prepared me. So I think 2 to 3 weeks, and I started bloating up, and I was really disliking my body. So I was all the time complaining that, you know, I'm putting on weight, I'm feeling heavy, and I would talk to my doc. I would just not talk about my illness. I would talk about my body. He would ask me, how are you feeling? I said, I'm not feeling well and I'm putting on weight. He told me, as long as you're focusing on your body and you're going on abusing your body, the medicine is not going to work. You won't believe, it was like an instant awareness. I started loving my body, and in no time, the medicine started working. And I'm off medicines today. The weight has stayed on, but the medicines have gone. But the shift was instantaneous the minute I stopped abusing my body and criticizing my body.
Absolutely.
I really wanted to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have to be grateful to our body. There's no doubt in that. And we have to actually lovingly care for our body. We need to send love to our body.
Can I share something briefly?
Okay, be quick about it, Raghuji.
Yes, sir. I'll be very quick. You know, there is a very interesting thing with the called the inner smile. It's sort of a meditation, smiling into each organ, thanking it, and transforming all the negative emotion to positive emotion. And that is it is taught in Qigong techniques. One of the Qigong techniques is inner smile, because you start appreciating the body, loving it for what it is doing for you, and it has negative emotions, you transform into positive emotion. I just want to share with it. It's a very, when you get up in the morning, when you do 20 minutes of or 15 minutes of this inner smile to the body, different organs have different energy, different color, and negative and positive emotion. When you are able to, instead of resisting it, transform the negative into the positive, you can feel the organs reacting. You can even see your kidney.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing.
So the point here is that if you are operating on the right side of the grid and you are in that state of conscious awareness and, that state of mind, then you automatically will be in a state of gratitude. You will be in a state of compassion. You'll be in a state of love. and automatically this will start happening. The view that I have taken in this is
Yeah.
to create that state of being in yourself, because there is a limit to the number of techniques that you can apply all the time. So you need to make it a part of your state of being. That is your state of consciousness. So automatically you're going to send loving energy to every part of your body. Why only the cell? Or why only the organs? You send it to each and every cell of your body.
True.
That's the level at which we need to actually go, appreciate every and each cell in the body. Okay. So that's the shift that we need to bring in ourselves.
No, this helps in the beginning. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, but we've been doing a lot of things. Raghuji, one second, Raghuji. We've been doing a lot of things in awareness. People have got a lot of techniques and tools. Okay. So even if they apply all those tools, which they are already using, it will come to the same thing. Okay. Shivangla, go ahead.
Second, contemplating the miracle of your body can lead you to see that we are constantly surrounded by miracles of every ilk and variety of the time. And much like awareness of the air we breathe, we often lose awareness of just how special this is. When we experience always living within miracle space, then the miracle of healing or manifesting what we desire to create are seen as a more seamless part of our nature, and not highly unlikely outlying events that only the exceptional can enjoy on a very rare basis.
So this is a regular question that we ask people. Are you aware that you're breathing? The very fact that we are breathing is an amazing concept. And now today with Corona, people are running around for oxygen. There was this joke going around in the WhatsApp messages that he had to buy a cylinder for an X amount of money, right? And then when he was coming out of the hospital, he was actually weeping, the gentleman. And then he said that, see, I have not paid attention and I've not had gratitude to the air, the trees that have produced the air and the oxygen. So I just realized that I have already breathed in so much money worth of oxygen, and I have not been grateful for it. So it's a miracle. The body is actually a miracle. And if we can, that's exactly what we were saying and what Raghuji was also saying, that if we can live in gratitude, if we can live in a state of consciousness, in a happy state of consciousness where miracles are happening every day. It's like a child, a young child, the young child is always in awe, is always ready for the new experience, is always in the aha moment. How many times do we have that aha moment? The point is that when we live in that miraculous state of consciousness, that is when the miracles will start to manifest in our lives.
And third, having great gratitude for your body and the life it supports helps you with the grounding, being fully in the present moment and fully in touch with your body. Mentioned in the previous chapter on happiness, which we have seen is highly important to manifestation power.
So again, being in the present moment, right? If you are on the left side of the grid, you will be in the past or the future. Only when you are in the right side of the grid will you be in the present moment. And that's the only thing that we have in our hand. So if we can focus on the present and what we need to do right now, rather than be bothered by what we need to do next all the time, our efficiencies will improve. Everything in our life will start to improve. And happiness is also in the present moment, because when we are looking at the future, it's always fear. When we are looking at the past, it's always related to guilt, right? Happiness or being happy in a state of bliss can only happen in the moment.
Gratitude is a powerful attractant for people to want to help you, even without being asked. Other people are often essential in manifesting what we desire and supporting us in enjoying what we have. Think of a person in your life for whom you have done much, but who seldom, if ever, expresses thanks back to you. Even if you love them, their lack of gratitude can make you feel like pulling away because the energy exchange is unequal and leaves you feeling drained and perhaps even resentful. You might even have a service job where you are constantly extending yourself for others and they seldom express appreciation back. Maybe they think, why should they bother expressing thanks as you are being paid to serve them? Or maybe it is your role as parent, child, or spouse that others think you are just doing what is expected and should not be thanked. If you want to manifest powerfully in your life and have all the support that the universe wants to give you through other people, you do not want to be this ungrateful person. If fact, in fact, you want to shine true and genuine gratitude to all you meet for them being in your life and helping you along your path.
So I had a very funny incident. I had gone to this person's house, and the person was having a slight problem with their teenager son, or he had just, graduated and he was there. And this lady tells me that my son is telling me that you gave birth to me, and now it is your responsibility to set up a business for me and give it to me so that I can do what I want to do. Can you imagine that? So when and this is what is happening with many children now, because everything they have got in a platter, the delay of gratification they do not understand. They do not understand, many of them do not understand what gratitude is also all about, because they expect all these things, right? Now, if you are not operating out of gratitude, you will never get help, right? Even in the gateway affirmation, one of the most important tenets is asking for help, and we consider it to be a tool. The ability to ask for help is an extremely important tool that we have in our hands, right? If I know a friend who can help me out to get something done, and I have the confidence and the desire, I mean, I have the ability to pick up the phone and call that person, I can sort out a lot of my issues. So that ability is always give and take, and this is something we saw in the Celestine prophecy also, where if you are getting into the control drama, which is what is spoken over here, that when you're drawing back, you're only taking and you're not giving, then it becomes a control drama. That means you're becoming a parasite. The idea is to give lovingly and freely, and also get lovingly and freely. That's when the energy expands. When we saw the Celestine prophecy movie also, we saw that how the energy goes. So if you give and take, okay, and a balance is maintained, it doesn't mean that you have to compensate monetarily. If you see that the person, if I'm doing something for someone, and I can see that person is genuinely grateful about it, right? Maybe that person does not have enough to give back to me at this point in time. Tomorrow the person may have that wherewithal to give back to me. There was this story which came out recently, I don't know where it came out, where this guy who was in uh, yeah, who was in Poland, did not have the ability to pay for something. And this gentleman actually went and paid for him, and the matter was over, right? I think he was stealing some food or something like that. And ultimately, what happened was that this person who had paid for that other, Mr. A, who had paid for Mr. B, ultimately became the prime minister or the president of Poland, right? And during the World War or something, that Poland needed support. They needed food grains. They needed to feed their people, right? And this president sent a request to the US government to support them. And as soon as he wrote the letter, immediately the US government responded by sending the food grains, etc. Now, after the thing was over, that Polish gentleman said that I need to go and thank the person who actually sent it. And when he went and met that gentleman, he said that, do you recognize me? So I was that young boy for whom you had paid for food, and this is payback for you. So when we do something good, we really don't know from where it will come back. But when we want to attract people to give us something, we need to be in gratitude. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And even in the gateway affirmation, the last tenet is always gratitude, all done with a state of gratitude. If I'm sending a reball, it is being sent with a state of gratitude. If we don't operate out of gratitude, let me tell you, the reball also will not, ultimately, you'll be using your energy. So it will not work. You'll start getting depleted. But if you're operating out of gratitude and you're connecting to that higher source and sending it, then you can keep sending reballs and nothing's going to happen to you. Okay, and I'm telling you this with a lot of experience.
An exercise that you can use to practice gratitude is to write a letter once a week to some organization that you feel is doing good work and or has personally benefited you. I feel that these letters often reach just the right person on the right day to make them feel better about how they are spending their lives. Here is an example of such a letter that I wrote recently. It does not need to be fancy to be appreciated.
So everyone is looking for appreciation, right? You're doing something, you're constantly doing something, but if you're not appreciated, there's no response coming back. Okay. We did the Resilience Advantage program just a few days back. And one of the things is coherent communication. How do you communicate? And communicating your appreciation to anyone is extremely important. Okay.
Mabin's Garbage Service. Dear Mabin's Company, I want to write a thank you note to you for the excellent service provided by your company to us for the last many years. You have come once per week very reliably. Your drivers are cheerful and leave the site clean at all times. When we have called your company, your staff has been courteous, helpful, and professional every time we have interacted with them. Your prices have remained reasonable as the years have passed. For your service quality to be this excellent, we know that everyone at your company must work together well, be highly professional, and take pride in their roles at the company, including the owners, office staff, drivers, and mechanics. In these stressful days, it is wonderful to have something go so well and pleasantly on such a regular basis that you can relax and trust that they will continue to exceed expectations. It even feels like you're a part of our extended family. Very best wishes, Joe and Elena Gallenberger.
Beautiful. So beautiful.
Just as I was putting these thoughts to print, I received an email from one of my students. In it, she stated, "Hi Joe, just wanted to share that in my experience, manifestation proceeds almost effortlessly once one embraces gratitude practice. I mean being grateful for everything that enters one's life, recognizing that each event has a sacred purpose, even the unpleasant ones. Sending lots of love to you and Alina, MW."
So I have to share this with you all. I just a few days back, I think in the month of December or January, I had asked, a question to on the virtual groups, that why do you attend awareness sessions? And believe me, I was really touched by a lot of these messages, and it really gave me a lot of solace that yes, what we are doing is actually creating a shift in people's lives, because it was right there on the messages. So what I did 2 days back was I went back to the messages and I've actually put it all in a Word file. I don't know if I shared it in the virtual groups, but
You did.
Yes, you
I
have.
shared it, right? So
Yes.
it's really wonderful, to get feedback and appreciation for what you do. And the main thing for me actually is that if we can see the shifts happening in people's life, that means you're creating value for someone. I'm creating a lot of value for myself. That's a given. But if others are also benefiting from that value, then always it's beautiful. Okay. And I feel grateful for everyone, and I'm filled with gratitude for all those people who actually posted on the group. Okay, there are about 1,000 people on the group. Maybe I think about 60 or 70 people posted, but I'm filled with gratitude to them that at least they took the time out to post. I don't know how many of you have accessed that Word file, but I think it will be worth it.
Yeah, I did some of it, not all, but yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, some of it.
I did too. It was very nice to read.
Great.
हम तो लिखा ही नहीं,
चलिए
हम तो खाली God bless कर देगा बस.
ठीक है, no problem.
I would like to close this chapter by discussing how gratitude and happiness relate to one another. Often we view it as I feel grateful because I am happy with something. One can also look at it the other way round. When I am grateful, I am happy. Gratitude can be a powerful generator of happiness. Here, gratefulness involves becoming aware of something that we have been given without effort or money on our part. In fact, each present moment is given to us each day, and each moment presents us with the opportunity to either enjoy the present moment or the opportunity to change attitudes or circumstance so that we can enjoy the next present moment more fully. If we are aware of the continuous gift of present moments given to us freely and the miracle of our human body symphony, we can live from a place of consistent gratitude and therefore be happy almost all of the time.
So in the morning today, Nagarji was talking in the Ashtavarka Gita, and or was it yesterday? Yeah. So he said that there are various levels that you can operate from. Okay. So he said you can operate from tamas, rajas, sattva, and when you're self-realized. So he said the tamas guy is shant because he's not even bothered about what he's doing and what he's not doing. The rajas guy is always agitated because he's always cribbing. He's always wanting something more, right? The sattvic guy is doing things but there is still stillness within him. And the really self-realized person, he's doing everything, but he's not doing it while doing it. And he's always in a state of calm and happiness, and he's not bothered by what the result of the fruit is, right? So what he's saying over here, literally speaking, is that if we can go into a state of consciousness, what Joe Gallenberger is saying is that if we can go into a state of consciousness where we are always happy with whatever is happening and be in that state all the time, then we start becoming literally like a self-realized person. Ultimately, a person who's not affected by circumstances and is genuinely happy in everything that is happening. That person actually hits happiness. There is no agitation in that person. Okay, so this is what we are actually really looking for from ourselves. There was this story which was told. It's about my Nanaji, Jayadayal Ji Goenka. Someone asked him that he told someone that whatever mera jo ichha hai wo hota hai. Okay, so someone asked him, how is that possible? So he turned around and told him that whatever is the wish of the Lord is my wish. So whatever is happening is the wish of the Lord, which is my wish. So whatever I am wishing is happening. Such a beautiful statement that was, that really stuck with me, to be frank with you, that if we are in acceptance of whatever is happening and we are happy in whatever is happening, then there will never be any kind of agitation in our minds and we can always be happy.
Chapter 3, Abundance. Hi, you guys. Well, I will throw my story in too for the Liquid Luck collection. I got a real surprise this morning. It's the end of the month and I usually budget carefully at this time of month just before pension day. Getting ready to take the dog out for his walk. I selected a pair of socks I seldom wear from my sock drawer. I don't know when I last wore those socks. As I went to put them on, something twinkled in the toe of one. Surprised, I reached in and out tumbled five $20 bills. I must have hidden them on myself almost a year ago. It's been a while since I wore those socks. My dog got a nice treat at the store. I had just listened to the Liquid Luck CD for the second time last night before I went to bed. There is nothing like the sight of fresh green cash when you don't expect it.
So,
DR.
so this is also, so this is something that used to happen to Robert Monroe also. It's the story he shares in Journeys Out of the Body, that whenever he really needed some money, when he was younger, little younger, he used to suddenly, used to lift a piece of wood and used to find some money. So many times, he used to put his hand in in a pant pocket which was hanging in the Almirah, and he used to find some money, right? So what happens is that, again, it's a question of manifestation, from where it comes, how it comes. The point is that if you are in that state of consciousness, then you attract what you need. Okay, you don't have to put effort into what you need. The universe automatically starts to bring into your life whatever you need. And I'm sure there are many people over here who would have been experiencing this. When you're on the path, the next thing automatically appears. It simply appears. That's what happened in my life. One thing just led to the other thing. I really did not push and really, go out looking for anything. If it came, you just avail it. You just take it.
So what is this Liquid Luck track CD? Is it the meditation or
It's the
something?
meditation. It's the meditation.
Okay.
We've done that meditation.
Yeah, yeah.
From the Liquid Luck meditation, next say, I am abundant. Feel abundant and send the energy of abundance, remembering all the ways in which you are already highly abundant and sending this energy into your liquid.
So all of us have a lot of things, right? Now, I can operate out of lack. I can operate out of abundance. It's a conscious choice that I make. So when we operate out of abundance, abundance is going to manifest in our life because we are creating our reality. What is the state of our being and what is the state of our conscious awareness becomes extremely important. I mean, we are constantly repeating the same thought, that what are we thinking becomes important. So if I'm operating in a state of abundance, that is what is going to manifest in my life. If I'm operating in a state of lack, that is what is going to manifest in my life. So if I have only 100 rupees, I can say, wow, I'm so lucky that I have 100 rupees. And if I have 100 rupees, I can, oh yeah, I only have 100 rupees. Now the 100 rupees is the same, but our attitude is different. So that is what is the game changer. When you shift your attitude, that is when the game changes.
Dictionary definitions of abundance include terms such as overflowing fullness, abundance of the heart, and an ample supply. Here we are referring to the broad idea of true wealth in all areas of life, including health, nurturing relationships, meaningful career, supportive community, and also a flow of money sufficient not only for basic needs but to fully express oneself in work and play and to help others. We do not mean just a narrow focus on how much money or possessions we may have. We are referring to a feeling which one only loosely correlates to the particular quantity of money we have. It is obvious that many who are rich may not enjoy any feeling of abundance, and many who have less countable assets may feel grandly rich. So, abundance is partly a measure of our skill at perceiving the wealth we already do have, from the basic gift of this day to live, through the free gifts of the beauty of nature, a body, access to cultural experiences, love, and other things that cost not a penny.
So abundance is not measured by only the money that you have. I always tell people there are 5 aspects to our lives. Okay. We have a personal life, we have a social life, we have a work life, we have a family life, and we have a personal life, right? Now, we need to be balanced in all areas of our life. But what I have seen, the beauty of it is that if you can make all of them come together, then you get power. So over here, what he's saying very clearly, what he's saying very clearly over here is that we need to have abundance in all areas of our life, not only from the monetary side of things. Okay. Someone may be very wealthy, but does not have any family to share it with. I've been to many people who are very rich. Okay, when I'm doing the energy field, Vastu and all that. And many times I find that they are in depression. They have a lot of issues themselves. So the point becomes what the point he's making here is that unless you have balanced abundance in all areas of your life, if one area is squeezed, then it can ultimately create problems. So the person who lives in abundance has abundance in all areas of his or her life.
Feeling abundant should be easier to accomplish than it is. The difficulty comes in part from what many have called our chattering monkey mind, which persists in comparing ourselves constantly with others. And this ego mind tends to ignore those who appear to have less and weigh more heavily any indication that others may have more. In fact, it can even single out one aspect, such as financial wealth or a fancier car, and ignore that we may have more friends, health, joy, or freedom from debt than the other person with the fancy car. It almost seems that our monkey mind is invested in keeping us from feeling abundant and therefore happy.
So the point here is whether we want to look good or we really want to feel good. Okay. So if you're wanting to look good, you're doing it for others. And this is totally ego driven. But true happiness and true contentment will come from your inner self. It cannot come from outside experience. But the ego will always focus on the outside experience. I know various cases. There was one case where this boy was engaged to a girl, and every day he used to come in a new fancy car. Okay. So now what was the expectation of the girl? That, he had so many fancy cars. But ultimately, after they got married, it turned out that he was hiring those cars and bringing it there to take her around. And he actually didn't own the cars. So what do you think happened? The girl was focused on the cars and not on the boy. So now when the cars disappeared, the girl also disappeared. Okay. So the point over here is that there is no, ultimately, if you want true happiness, then the comparison with others has to drop. And the best way to do it is to see who has less than you. So then you can operate out of gratitude. So you can be grateful for what you have. When you look up, then you will always be operating in a mode of lack. And that puts you on the left side of the grid. When you operate that I have so much, it puts us into the right side of the grid. Yes, Anaga?
Could you please repeat those 5 areas that you talked about?
So I said your personal time, your family time, your work time, your social time, and your spiritual time. Actually, there are 5. I missed out spiritual last time.
Personal, family, social,
Personal,
work,
family,
and
social, work, and spiritual.
Thank you very much.
So when you bring all 5 together, you actually get power. Okay. So the more aligned everything becomes, the more power you have, right? If you take my example, this is what I like doing. So this is my work. I enjoy doing it. It's my personal time. I enjoy socializing with all of you. So it's my social time. it is spiritual work. And what else? Yeah. And see, Shrimangala is also involved. My family is with me in doing this. My daughter is involved. Her husband is also involved in this. My son is also into all this. You know, he keeps asking me for biofield tuning. He's done all the workshops, etc. So my family is also involved. So now what happens? When everything comes together, you become powerful. You become more resilient. Okay. This is just an example that I'm giving.
Thank you.
So it is also like what we read in Ikigai, if you get what I mean, right? So in Ikigai, what were the 4 tenets? The one was you're doing what you enjoy doing. It is something that the world needs. You are good at it, and you can be paid for it, right? So what I'm saying is the all aspects of life, when you bring all of them together again. So this is my Ikigai also. This is where I have power also. Okay, everything comes together.
Yeah, Nikit, may I please?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. See, the example that you gave now, that kind of is like sab cheez ek mein, it not necessarily, it may not necessarily be so.
Correct.
For example, my
Yeah.
work may be different, my family, my spiritual, all my 5 worlds
Correct.
are different.
I'm saying that if you can make it like that, madam, I'm saying that
So
if you
how
can
can
make
my
it like
work,
that.
how can my work,
Suppose your husband is in stock market, for example. Okay. Now you also get involved in the stock market. You have the same group of friends. So you're socializing together. Okay.
no, but my husband is in the stock market and I'm a dentist. So we are 2 separate
I
professions.
understand. I'm not saying, what I'm saying is that's an ideal situation. I'm not saying that everyone can achieve it.
So in an ideal, you're saying in an ideal situation.
In an ideal situation, everything is balanced. So you get real power.
Balanced is different than, you know, putting it everything in
Correct.
together in one pot.
You have to have balance in all aspects of your life.
Yeah. Balance is one thing, but it doesn't mean that, you know, I have to be in his work and he has to be in my work.
No, you don't have to be. I'm saying that if you could do it,
exactly.
If you could do it, then that's an ideal situation, na?
हाँ, हम वही बोल रहे थे ना कि the premises क्या आप बोल रहे हो कि सब लोग मतलब एक काम में है, श्रीमंगला भी आपके साथ है, तो सब लोग
I'm
एक
saying
काम
that
कर रहे
together
हैं,
they're not against me, na? Suppose,
no,
suppose,
but it's not against, no, but the balance can be, only thing I'm saying is the balance can be without everybody being in.
Correct,
what
of
you are
course,
doing.
of course you
So
can.
I may be spiritually, my spiritual time is balanced. Doesn't mean everybody has to follow what I'm following.
Correct, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
For me, like it's a personal thing. You balance your time between your family, between your work, so it's your personal time. Yeah.
Correct. So you create that balance, na? There is no resistance. Like suppose you're a dentist and your husband says, no, I don't want you to be a dentist. Right. Now then what happens?
No, but I know what is right and how much time I should be giving.
So that balance is something we need to create. Na? In all the times. In all the time that in my life.
Whether there is friction, reaction, resistance, yes or no, my own self will tell me what is my perfect balance.
Correct. Absolutely. So we need to create the balance.
Yeah.
Yes, Anaga, you are saying something again?
No.
Okay.
I was looking at the Ikigai 4 tenets that you had sent over.
Okay.
I was trying to look it up. Thank you.
It's there on the group.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Thank you.
Ego mind may be there to keep us from feeling complacent and to measure our status compared to others in our tribe. Therefore, at its most basic, it is probably trying to keep us safe. But it often does so at the expense of us feeling happy, content, and complete. And our individual ego mind has a lot of help from the current cultural mindset in most developed nations. The culture has a strong investment in fueling our feeling of the opposite of abundance and instead feeling scarcity and lack. In fact, capitalism and control require this. Yes, a regulated capitalism designed to ensure fairness and balance can be a tremendously vibrant system which nurtures innovation, risk, and change and rewards intelligence and hard work. And it is a better system in practice than any other we have come up with so far, such as communism. So, how did this empowering system of capitalism get off track?
So the point is that the ego always wants us to be safe and to survive. Okay. So in that process, it can start hoarding things also. It can push you into hoarding things so that you are safe. But in that process, it at times does not look at what will make you truly happy. Okay. So when we are operating from ego, you will find that most of the time you will be operating from the left side of the grid. So the idea is we need ego. Without ego, we cannot survive, right? Because if we had no ego, then there would be no distinction between anything. So ego creates the duality. So we need a little bit of ego to actually exist. But then when it gets overboard, then the problem starts to happen, right? So we need to monitor our ego also. The way I look at it is, we must be in charge of our ego rather than the ego becoming in charge of us.
It is important to understand this for meaningful discussion of abundance. So, while mentioned in Inner Vegas, creating miracles, abundance, and health, I want to expand on it here. From my point of view, the physical and non physical universes are both abundant beyond measure. Some examples are.
So the universe has enough for everyone. Okay. We all experienced it. When the shutdown started taking place, the air became cleaner, everything started working better, right? So the universe or the earth really doesn't need us. It has enough intelligence to look after itself. And if you look at it, every time we've been saying that if we hit such a population, people will starve. If we hit such a population, people will starve. But to date, everyone is still getting their meal. Okay. Yeah, some people less, some people more. But the fact is that the earth is being able to still provide for us. So the universe is actually full of abundance. There is no lack as far as the universe is concerned. The lack comes from our ego mind.
Some examples are physical numbers. Witness the countless numbers of species of plants and animals and the huge numbers in many species, individual populations, such as the number of trees on the earth. And the latest estimates from telescopes is that there are 400 billion galaxies, each containing billions of stars. Just 80 years ago, we thought there was just one galaxy.
So abundant.
Energy. The sun, ocean, and wind contain energy in uncountable measure. Science has begun exploring zero-point energy that exists in incomprehensible quantity, even in the near vacuum of outer space.
So 0-point energy is that the entire universe is filled with energy. It's like the atom, right? The atom is a minuscule thing, but when it is empowered in a proper way, it can actually produce a lot of electrical current, or it can produce a huge blast. We've experienced Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So the 0-point energy is now what they're talking of. That energy, first we were thinking that in outer space, it's a vacuum. There is nothing existing. But now they are talking of dark matter and the 0-point energy, which is there. That every particle, every kern of that space is full of energy.
Love. Each of us has the opportunity to love each of the other billions of humans on earth, plus many animals that can respond to our love.
So love is actually free. Okay. If there is no transaction involved, you can love everyone. But the love that we term is that infatuation love. ultimately goes sa because there's a transaction involved. Here, what he's talking about is universal love. And there's never lack of universal love.
Beauty. We are free to enjoy music, warmth, rain and sun, sunsets, mountains, and oceans. If we open our perception, we can see beauty nearly everywhere, from the smallest leaf to the grandest mountain range.
So we can find beauty in everything that we do or see. Okay. Even in the microscopic creatures, there is so much of beauty. If you see these insects, there's so much of beauty. If you see each and every flower, there's so much of beauty. I mentioned that in the Gateway Voyage, we have an exercise called the silent walk. Now, in that silent walk, what has happened is for the 4 or 5, 6 days, the people have been going into these elevated states of consciousness. Their perceptions have started to expand. And when we go into that silent walk, the things that we notice, the colors that we notice, the smells that we notice, the feels that we notice, everything starts getting enhanced. And you actually, when you see the writing of people when they come back from that silent walk, they actually start noticing things that they didn't notice previously. And there is beauty in everything around us.
Humor. If we have a sense of humor, particularly about ourselves, opportunities for laughter abound.
So again,
With
humor
this,
has no cost. It has no, and it is limitless. Okay, I think it's 3:15, so we can stop here. Okay, anyone, anything to say?